Hello, I'm going to describe issues that come up in relationships with someone who has strong Libra in their birth charts. And I'm going to give some practical, clear suggestions on how to make your relationships with someone with strong Libra work very beautifully. And the emphasis that I'm going to place is on close relationships, particularly close friends or romantic and marriage partners. So if you have a colleague that you work with every day at work, or you're sharing an apartment with someone, any kind of close relationship, this is where the zodiac sign qualities really come out, is in close relationships, and they have a bigger impact on close relationships than they do on more distant kind of relationships or on many other areas of life. Because zodiac signs, the tropical zodiac signs that we're going to look at, they show how we approach life. They have a big effect on our perspective, our priorities, and our motivations. And these things that are very personal and dear to us really become obvious when we're up close and personal with someone. So what do I mean by strong Libra? Rising sign, sun sign, moon sign, or the sign of Venus is going to make Libra have a strong impact on relationships. And I'm using the tropical zodiac here. Now, let's first talk a little bit about common ideas about Libra. Then I'll talk about how we understand Libra in vibrational astrology, and then how we can have successful relationships with Libra, how we can fix problems and make the relationship work better. Okay, common ideas about Libra is that Libra is compromising and indecisive. They're inclined to moderation. They seek all sides of an issue. They value friendships. They're artistic and they have good aesthetic sense. So Libra is the balance, and they're always looking at the balance and the other point of view and trying to balance and sometimes being indecisive. Now, in vibrational astrology, we do not agree that all of these characteristics are consistently there. Libra is not necessarily indecisive. It's not even necessarily extremely compromising, although Libra is considerate. In other words, here's the difference. Libra takes in the other point of view. Whether they will bend to that point of view, we don't know. They will take it into strong consideration. Because the essence of Libra is this. Libra wants to relate to other people as equals. Period. That is what Libra is doing. The zodiac signs are actually very simple. It's a force. It's a motivation. It's a perspective. It's a priority to the person. And the perspective of Libra is, here we are together on planet Earth. Let's respect each other. Let's appreciate each other. And let's understand that every one of us has something important to contribute, and we should all be respected. There are differences. Libra does not overlook differences. One person is better at athletics. Another person is better at running a business. There are differences. There can be differences between males and females. Libra does not seek to obliterate differences. It simply wants those differences to be appreciated and equally respected, and that all areas of life are important. So this is the key idea of Libra. We developed this interpretation of Libra from our extreme case sampling studies, from data-driven studies with no cherry picking, and we find what the super Libra people are consistently like. The people who have tons of planets, like triple Libra. What's going on? Some of them are not meek and mild and compromising. That idea does not always work, but there's always something about seeking equality and a sensitivity to hierarchy, a sensitivity to people being in power, dominating and abusing other people, or taking them for granted, or putting them lower in esteem and value. What Libra is seeking to do is to respect and appreciate every person. So let's take a situation of an employee and an employer, a boss and an employee. These situations exist. There's also parents and children, teachers and children. There are hierarchies. There are situations where someone is the leader, is the guide. That's okay. What's not okay for Libra is to think of the guide as better, to think of the teacher as more important, to think that the employee has no voice, to think that the child has no voice. So the attitude that you tell the children what to do and they should listen and they should obey disagrees with the fundamental concept of Libra. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that it will not work for Libra. On a practical level, Libra is seeking respect and appreciation and to give everybody a voice. So Libra is likely to talk to the child about an issue, to listen to the child, to share with the child. So the sharing happens between all people, parents and children, bosses and employees. There's a sharing, there's a respect, and there's a love that everybody's there. The parents want to the children. Some parents, they strive very hard to have the children. So why would they then think they can just boss the children around after they have them? No. The child is necessary. The parent is necessary. Communication and respect. And then after the communication, Libra is happy. Everybody shared their point of view, and then Libra can make a decision. It's not that Libra is always wishy-washy and unable to come to conclusions. Some Librans are, but it's not necessary. All that's necessary is one thing: communication, respect, appreciation. That everyone is important. That's it. That's all that's needed. There can be differences. So for you to be successful in a partnership, in a close friendship with someone with strong Libra, you need to respect each other equally. You need to appreciate and respect your partner as being just as important to you as you are to them. Not to denigrate yourself, not to denigrate the other person, but to see what is beautiful, and it can be different, and to celebrate it, that both sides are needed. Both are equally important. The father is just as important as the mother. Everybody's just as important, because without both of them, the child is not born. We need everybody to play their part. This is the dream. This is the vision. This is the motivation. This is the perspective of Libra. If you want to succeed with Libra, you have to encourage this communication and this respect. It does, again, let me emphasize, it does not mean that one person is not better at something than another person. They are better. One person is better at math than the other person. They're better, and then they can show the other person. One person can lead the other person. No problem. But that leading does not mean that they are valued more and that they don't realize there's something special about the person who's teaching, who in some other situation becomes their teacher. This is it. And remember, if you have a close relationship with Libra, you are one of the most important things in the world to your friend, because friendships are so extremely important to Libra. You are what Libra seeks as a friend. So this is very, very special. Let me say that again. If you have a friend and that friend is Libra, your role as a friend to that person, what does it mean to be a friend? It means that you're able to listen, that the person can tell you things that they don't tell other people, that you can be trusted with it, that you can appreciate it, and that you will communicate back honestly. You don't have to disagree. If you're so afraid to share your point of view with your friend, or if you force your point of view and you don't listen well, it's not the friend Libra is looking for, and it's not the friend that life makes available to us to become. It's not our highest potential. Libra gives you the opportunity to seek the highest form of friendship, which is to communicate, to share, to listen, and then to be honest, with respect, with humility, but to be honest and to be able to share and work through things. So you can really help each other. It's not about agreeing all the time. It's about being there for each other and helping each other and respecting and appreciating each other. So this is what happens in a Libran relationship. Be ready to listen. Be ready to be there for them. Be ready to walk through the complex circumstances of situations and not just to fire off some simple response. If your friend is having trouble in their marriage, having trouble at work, to be able to listen, not to just shoot off some immediate answer. To go through the story with them, to walk through it, to feel it, to bounce ideas off each other. And you know what? It takes time. So if you're going to be in a relationship with Libra, you need to be able to devote time to the friendship. If you're too busy with your work or other priorities and you don't want to spend time with your friend, you've gotten in the wrong friendship. Libra is for people who want to have real friends, to bounce ideas off of, and to spend time and to work through things and to come to new insights together. So this is what Libra is asking of you as a friend of Libra, is to incorporate the qualities of Libra into yourself. Because when we have a relationship, it makes us grow beyond the boundaries of our initial situation. And for you to learn how to be there, to listen, to relate, to give honest feedback, but sensitively, with the right timing, and the right delicacy, the right tone, everything becomes important to make the right balance and the right integration and the right connection. So as I said, there are many relationships, parent, child, teacher, student, boss, employee, or the chain of command in the military, which is hierarchical. These hierarchical relationships function well only if everyone realizes that everyone is equally important. Everyone is equally important. The parents wanted to have a child. The child obviously needs the physical support, care, and guidance of the parents. They need each other. They're made for each other. And they need to listen to each other. It's not a parent is the boss who dictates. There's no dictatorship in the Libran universe. Dictatorships are out. Okay? It's about communication. It's about sharing. Okay. Now, let's say someone has a lot of Libra and they're a parent. Libran parents typically want to talk to the child and guide the child. If the child becomes reticent or insolent or for some other reason does not wish to engage with the parent in a meaningful way, so they're not engaging, they're not communicating so the parent can understand the situation of the child, to get that information so that the parent can guide the child, the parent is likely to feel very disappointed. The parent wants to communicate, wants to understand. Sometimes, especially when children get into their teens, I know it's true in the United States, maybe not all countries, that children sometimes pull away when they enter into their teens. They become a little more rebellious. This can be very difficult for the Libran parent, and they just need to keep trying to make that communication. Without becoming smothering to the child. But if nothing else, just talk to them as a friend, to be there. Because Libra does not tolerate, it does not feel comfortable, it is not happy with a lack of mutual respect and communication. When that happens, the Libran will often seek counseling to resolve the problem. This is the primary interest of Libra. Now, let's say you're in a marriage or a romantic relationship with Libra, and one of the people has a significantly higher level of education than the other. This can happen. Maybe the wife has a PhD and the husband doesn't, or vice versa. And with that PhD, there's a lot of stature placed on it, and a lot of communication that goes on among people who have that specialization in their knowledge. Somehow, both people need to be regarded as equally important, equally valid, equally contributing in their own way. So the PhD process is one way to stand out, but the other person must have another way to stand out, to be as important, as equal, as authoritative in some way. It might be in some other area of life. This is what Libra is seeking, to bring out people, to bring out their ability so that they can communicate and share and help each other as equals. Again, equals does not mean equal competency. Many Libran people have no trouble with men and women being regarded as having different innate talents. They don't consider that to be a prejudice. It's just that the talents that they are endowed with are considered of equal value and equally important to life. I'm not telling you what's true in life. I'm just telling you how Libra works. So when you bond with Libra, you have formed a partnership and a deep friendship. And your friend is a big part of your life, and you are a big part of your friend's life. Your friend will be there for you when you need to talk or to share something, and you need to be there for your friend. If you're not willing to put the time into it, if your friend calls you and you say, well, I'm busy, you're always busy, it's just not a priority for you, it's not the friendship that Libra wants. Because friendship is primary. To be able to rely, to relate, to trust. This builds society. This builds meaningfulness. And we become friends even with our parents and our children to that extent. And in a marriage relationship, your spouse needs to also be your best friend. To be able to share your thoughts and feelings and to share your life experience is one of the great blessings in life, and it is the blessing that Libra seeks. So all of these adjectives and characteristics that we have for Libra, that they're compromising, they can't make up their minds, forget it. It's not necessarily true. A lot of those are negative things, and there's nothing about a zodiac sign that has to be negative. What's behind those characteristics? That's what's important. That's what's real. That's what's consistent. And for Libra, it's seeking friendship, equality, the ability to relate to another person with equal respect and appreciation. Again, not equal talents, equal respect and equal appreciation. It's not a politically correct stance. It's based on an intuitive sense that everyone belongs, that everyone's role is important, that everyone is made to be part of a fabric of society. So that's the Libra vision, and the way to succeed with Libra is to be able to grow into the Libra way of life. If Libra is rising, it's very sensitive. The rising sign is always sensitive. It's always easily set off balance. It's easily challenged. So if Libra is rising, the need for this real friendship, to really hear each other, to listen to each other, to be able to talk to each other is so important. And as soon as it goes off, Libra becomes concerned. With the sun sign, it's just a built-in way of life. And with the moon sign, it's the mood, it's the atmosphere, it's the tone. If your tone is dismissive, if the tone of your voice is sarcastic, is indifferent, oh my God, does that ever go against the grain of a moon in Libra? Moon in Libra means you set a tone, you set a mood, you set an atmosphere of acceptance, of assuming that somebody has something to say, and to draw out of them something important to contribute. And if Venus is in Libra, it means the person is seeking that integration, that wholeness that comes from different elements coming together to create something bigger than themselves. This is the beauty of Libra, that something more beautiful happens through the friendship, something bigger. It's like the building of life from atoms to molecules. It's building larger structures, larger experiences for the fulfillment of life. So, Uh, this is important. I've said some of this, but let me go through this because there's a few new points here. As I said, although Libra has a reputation for being indecisive, and although this is often the case, it is not necessarily true. You can prevent a tendency for you and your friend to not be able to make decisions together by voicing your opinion and asking for your friend's opinion. So when you're with Libra and then your Libran friend says to you, what kind of restaurant do you want to go to tonight? Italian, what, Chinese, what do you want to do? And you say, well, anything's fine with me. Well, once in a while that's okay, but if that's a habit, no. No, no, no. Libra thrives on sharing. There's no sharing if you're not saying something, even if it's just a very mild preference. You could say, gee, I'm in the mood for Italian, but I don't want to go to XYZ restaurant because their service is terrible. Or, I had the spaghetti there and the sauce was blah, blah, blah. Libra loves this. You shared something. It doesn't have to be some dramatic, profound thing. You shared something. Often it leads to a lot of laughter. Oh yeah, that spaghetti, I remember that. Little things to share about what you like, what you didn't like, makes the Libran life sing. So say something about what you like. There must be something about the different options. Or maybe you want to look and find something new. Maybe you want to get on the internet and Google something. Bring something to the table. With Libra, bring something to the table. If you are indifferent, if you are indecisive, if it doesn't matter to you, you fall into this malaise. The Libran malaise, where nothing's happening. But once you start sharing, wow, things perk up and become lively. This is a key to happiness with Libra. Bring something to the table. Share something. Don't be so concerned that you'll have different points of view. Libra thrives on different points of view as long as they're respected, as long as they're appreciated. If you're demeaning, if you say, oh, you don't like that Italian restaurant because for some demeaning reason, because you can't handle blah, 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 whatever. No. You've just put poison into the Libran relationship. The Libran relationship is about finding the good things that people have to share. Doesn't mean you don't face those poisons or those difficulties in the relationship, but bring them up and face them squarely. Don't just drop them like little poisonous effects into the conversation. So you share something about what you prefer. You end up with sharing little stories about how you like the atmosphere or the service or the food or something, and you get the sharing of different perceptions and experiences. This is what Libra delights in. So these are ways to make your Libran relationship work, to be happy, to be fulfilling. Share something. Say something. If you think about it, I'm sure there's something you have to say. And so I already said this. Being dismissive or harshly critical of others can be deadly to your friendship with Libra. Now, if someone is clearly abusive, they're clearly neglectful, or in some way they're having a negative effect, you go to the restaurant and the server is nasty, is rude, whatever, that's fact. You can say it. That's not demeaning. And the other person won't see it as demeaning. That's just an observation. So you have to distinguish between making clear observations and projecting on other people. If you're projecting, or you're expecting the worst, or you're seeing the worst, with Libra you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. And when they break that benefit of the doubt, then you can point out what's wrong. So I hope you can get the point. Look on the bright side. Look at what there is to share. But after you try a few times and it fails, then you can say, okay, we've got a problem here. We've got a problem. This store is overcharging me. This is not right. Libra wants to set things right. Just don't jump into it prematurely. So Libra is not as averse to raw honesty as some people suggest. It just wants other people to join in as equals and make a sincere attempt to share with others with integrity and honesty. And if you do that, Libra will welcome your point of view with open arms. Now, regarding the artistic business, is Libra artistic? Well, you're going to meet a lot of Librans who are not particularly artistic, and they do not have a keen sense of aesthetics and balance. I would say the majority of Librans do have more of an aesthetic sense and a sense of balance and fine blending than other people. It is true, that's a tendency, but it's only a tendency. It's not always true. These are personality characteristics. There is something that's always true for Libra. They're seeking equality in relationships. That's what's equal. And that seeking equality, that openness, inclines to the ability to blend things together and see how they will come together, but not necessarily. So you may have a Libra who does not invest a lot of energy into having nicely matched clothing, and their accessories match their clothing, and they do not decorate their home or apartment with a lot of care, more care than other people. It can happen. More often than not, Libra does do these things. But if they do not be shocked. There's only one thing that's consistent about every zodiac sign, and for Libra, it's that they're seeking to relate to the world as equals, to be appreciated and respected, and to be with people that they can appreciate and respect. If Libra is with someone that does not appreciate them or does not respect them, or is with someone that has such a poor character that they cannot appreciate and respect them, or cannot establish a reasonable connection with them, Libra is out. It's not made for Libra. It won't work. They're going to not participate in that. They're seeking that kind of equality. That's always true. That's the consistent thing with Libra. Now, there are people who are blocked, who are repressed, who are not clearly expressing things in a healthy way. They're dysfunctional. They're having consequently all kinds of problems in their lives. But the force is there. You can feel the force. And the force is not coming through. There will be clear negative results from it. So I think I've already said this. People are sensitive about their rising sign. It's a force that is important to express. The rising sign is not a mask. The sun is where you're in your element. And the moon sign is your automatic, built-in, instinctive way of responding. Here's an interesting thing about Venus and Libra. Venus shows what is attractive. Venus in Libra typically is sensitive to the personal message that is expressed in art, music, architecture, etc., and what is meaningful and important to the person. When Venus in Libra looks at art, they are reading what the message is from the person. You know, if it's a beautiful nature scene, they're reading that as a message from the person. That the person is saying, I love this beauty of nature. I want to share this with you. This is what I have to say. So they're always looking at everything as a communication, as a sharing, as an understanding of what is being said behind the appearance of things. And Venus is relating strongly to the person in a personal way who has made that art and what they're conveying to the rest of the world. Okay, that's it, my friends. There's some information about what Libra is all about and a realistic sense of how you can succeed in relationships with people that have strong Libra. We're giving the real view of it, not the superficial, glossed over, extreme descriptions that you'll read of just personality characteristics that are not always true. Okay, I hope you find this helpful. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. Namaste.